This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah. This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. We are live in downtown Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino here on a Football Friday. In 15 minutes, we will hit the marquee matchups tomorrow and over the weekend in college football. Right now, we head out and start the hour by going to the Progressive guest line as professional sports bettor and reigning champion, defending champion in the Friday Night Football Invitational here at Circa. Chuck Edel joins the program now. Chuck, good to talk to you as always. How are you today?
Doing great. Good to talk to you guys.
You bet. Let's begin with the game that's on the board tonight as Charlotte is taking on Appalachian State. This is a kickoff time of 7 o'clock Eastern, so coming up in 2 hours from right now. Big move here on the point spread and the total overall. It dropped both ways. App State was a much bigger favorite than where they're at right now, sitting at 3.5. Total down about a good 5 points as well to 48.5, 49 in that neighborhood. What did you get here with Charlotte, and is there a bet still to be made in your opinion?
Yeah, I was right in between the steam a little bit. I got Charlotte plus 5.5, but I also did play some Charlotte on the money line. I still think it's a good play here at the currently getting. It looks like it was a 3.5 at the spot you guys are doing the show at, and this is more of a play going against App State than it is going on Charlotte. But Charlotte has a new coach, Tim Albin. He comes from Ohio. He was the coach of the year last year in the MAC conference. He had his last 3 seasons at Ohio. He won 10 games every year there. He had, before that, he was at some smaller schools, but always been successful. A lot of people think very highly of him. I think he's going to do good over there at Charlotte. He's had some good transfers come in. His biggest transfer he was able to get was Connor Harrell. He got him from North Carolina to play quarterback. And so the team's going forward here. Meanwhile, App State also brings in a new coach. They brought in that Dowell Logan. He was the offensive coordinator last year for South Carolina. He does bring in a complicated system, and App State does not have much talent and not much returning on the offense as well. Their top player in offense just got hurt recently in practice. Kenya Roberts, he's out for the year with the ACL, and they're in a rebuild mode there. There's no question about it. They know it themselves. Their quarterback transferred to Tennessee. He was very good last year. They're stuck at the quarterback position now. Their defense has improved a little bit. Charlotte's defense improved as well. And again, he's brought in some good transfers on both sides of the ball. But this is really a play against a real bad App State team. This is probably going to be their worst year they've had since they got in the Division I.
Okay. And then what do you make of the total as well? Dropping down where it is, sitting at 49.5 at most spots the way it looks.
Yeah, I was able to play it under 52.5, but I still like it to go under. Both these coaches are so heavy on running the ball. They really, it's going to be a grind out kind of game, especially in a close game like this. Last year, his Ohio team, Albin's Ohio team, rushed the ball 574 times, only threw 345, and they averaged 65.6 plays a game. Way below normal. He's definitely a run first coach. We know it's going to be a semi-close game here. I expect them really to pound the ball on the ground. On the other hand, the App State, their whole starting offense either graduated or transferred. We mentioned about the running back out, and he's also Logan's also the offensive coordinator while he was at South Carolina. He was another guy who would like to run the ball. They ran the ball 551 times, only threw 342. And with both these defenses improved a little bit, they both got stronger. I like this game to go under the total.
Follow the money, Paulie and Mitch VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Chuck Edel, our guest, not only the defending Friday Football Invitational champ, the also 20-1 run years ago, sides and totals on Follow the Money back in the day as well. All right, another total. Georgia Tech, Colorado, big move. Open 57 in some spots, down to 50.5, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific with the kick. Where you at with this game?
Yeah, this game's been moving under. Been getting bet since it opened. I am on the under. I went under the 53 here. It's going to be interesting. Colorado last year averaged 63 plays a game, which is way below the normal pace of most teams play. And now Colorado, they're going to move away from the pass-first offense. They're going to be more balanced this year. Now that Shedeur is gone, they're not going to be, throw first. In fact, they're going to be run first now. Their quarterback, Salter, is transferred in from Liberty. He's a run-first guy. He's very athletic. He likes to run. He ran a lot of yards at Liberty. He's a little shaky at times on the passing, but he's going to run. So you're going to see Colorado play a little different style. Much more balanced this year than we have in the past. And for all the publicity that Colorado team got last year, really it was their defense that kept that team together. I mean, we know the Big 12, very high scoring offense, not a lot of defense. Their defense only allowed 23 points a game. And in conference, they led the Big 12 in the fewest yards per play. They were 22nd in the nation in defensive success rate. So a solid Colorado team. Now they're going to play, and they're going to get tested a little bit. But I think this Georgia Tech slightly overrated offense. We know there's a lot of talk about Haynes King and how well that offense has played. But I think going up against this Colorado defense on the road, also coaches have that offense for Georgia Tech. Coaches, week one have a lot more time to prepare for these games. We saw a lot of unders last night. They're more prepared, I would say, to play against defenses, against the offense. So that's another edge. Georgia Tech should be improved this year on defense as well. They brought in the defensive coordinator from Texas. He was the secondary coach at Texas last year. They bring him in as a coordinator last year. Georgia Tech coordinator for defense was horrible. They got run over. So they're going to be improved on defense. I think I lean Colorado in the game, but I really like the under in the game.
Very good. And 50.5 still available right now at several sports books. So under that game, under in the Charlotte App State game, and then Charlotte plus the 3.5. Very good. Chuck, absolute pleasure to talk to you, and we'll speak to you every Friday during the football season. We appreciate it. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks, guys. Look forward to it.
Thank you, sir.
Back at you. Yeah. Okay, so he's very good on totals, by the way.
Unbelievable.
You'll find out if you track that on the Friday night show, which starts next week here, the Invitational. Again, he won it a season ago with 77, 44, and 3, I believe was a record. Just insane run. He will have a lot of college football totals. And he's only allowed, I think, to play 5. He told us that he would have played more college football totals last year if the rules allowed him to do that.
Should there be rules? Remember the old Stardust show line? They had Jimmy Walker on. Dynamite! Right?
Yeah.
He was on. He did a CFL game, and they got mad at him. So what the hell's the difference?
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, he did a CFL game. I got something under my sleeve here. Okay, it was great.
All right, so there is a reason why, here at Circa anyway, they were the first book in the world to make Texas the favorite yesterday. And, the whole time when that game was posted in this offseason, Texas was catching 3, Paul. And then it was moving down slowly but surely, 2.5 for a while, down to 2, and then it kept coming. And then all of a sudden, whammo. Circa went to Texas -1 on the road against the champs. Here's the reason why. Derek Stevens, owner, CEO of this great property, he went on prime time yesterday with Tim Murray and Matt Humans, and he explained the move.
Well, I was sitting in my desk and I saw it come across the ticker. It was pretty straightforward.
That's just, as a matter of fact,
550,000 on Texas +1. So we blew through the pick. We went the other way. So now we got Texas as a 1, looking for some buyback.
So Texas, $550,000. Texas +1.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what happened. So right now we figured because the pick'em number, it doesn't mean that much. We figure, okay, now's the time we're going to get a little buyback. So I think we have seen a lot of buyback so far, but we're still at 1.
And now they're at pick'em. Brad Powers asked the question today, professional sports bettor, Dynamite on college football. He asked the question on X, is that the biggest college football regular season bet ever taken by a legal sports book? Might be.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big boy.
That is.
Now, is that somebody who has just a lot of money? Is it somebody that's respected in the game?
Well, even if that was Billy Walters, I wouldn't say, okay, I love Texas now. I'd just say it's too tough of a game. right?
Oh, if it's Billy Walters, I'm betting Texas.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well,
I
come
think
on.
so.
Well, he was not 100%, 58%.
No, I know that.
But this also, it's
yeah.
it maybe the biggest mismatch is Sark against Patricia. Who knows? But maybe Jordan Rodgers is right. The hype doesn't match what I'm watching on tape. Maybe Sayan's the better quarterback, at least for this game. Game, yeah, absolutely. It could happen. Let's not anoint this guy just yet.
Well, I'd say again.
I mean, you can't just say to me you can't have a strong opinion on this game. I love Texas. I just think it's going to be anything is possible.
That's fair.
You're talking about the defending champs here, and now they did a good job against them last year in the playoff. But you got Smith could beat you too.
Sure,
he could have 150 yards and 2 scores on your head.
We have a great guest, by the way, who is all things Texas Longhorns, coming up in 20 minutes. Chip Brown's been covering that program for a long, long time. Great insider. I can't wait to, he's the perfect guy to kind of ask, right? You're going to hear one person say, dial it down. The tape doesn't match the hype. Other people find bombs like he's going to win multiple Heisman trophies.
Yeah.
What's the realistic take on Arch Manning?
Is he better than yours? Stats and performance and what happens and how many games they win.
I think if they
won a playoff game.
If you're betting on Texas to win the national title this year, he's got to be better than Quinn Ewers.
Yeah.
And he wasn't horrendous, but
yeah, it's a long read, not enough time. But that fantastic. What a way to start the season. But there's numbers to say Ohio State. There's trends and numbers to say Texas. That's why it's such a great game.
All right. More on the marquee games of the weekend coming up. This coach is 1-9 straight up. Last 10 games when facing ranked teams. Find out that dude next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
So we just talked about that Texas move here at Circa yesterday. They were the first book to go to Longhorns -1. They're back to pick 'em right now. Derek Stevens explained why on VSiN Primetime they took a $550,000 bet on Texas. They wanted money back on Ohio State. They got some. How about this now? DraftKings went to 1.5 on Texas. Texas money line -118. Ohio State -102. You can grab the Buckeyes +1.5. Lay 12 cents a juice over there. And it looks like right now on the screen, DK might be the only spot where Texas is the favorite in that game. Again, it's around the money line. So as Derek said, not the biggest deal of all time, but.
Well, here's the case. Sark against Patricia. Patricia hasn't coached in college since 2003. You think you have the better quarterback.
No, they do.
Okay.
He's a better quarterback.
You have you have an unbelievable defense. And you are road and battle tested. You've won 11 in a row on the road. You won at Bama. You won at the Big House. You won at A&M. You continue to do it and rise to the occasion in these big moments. They're also on a 7-1 underrun in road games also.
Okay, so forget Sark versus Patricia for the moment.
Okay, why?
Again, so Texas, they do have the better quarterback. They have the better defense. Right?
They have the better defense.
They bring back 7 players with starting experience from a defense that allowed 15 points per game last year, 3rd in the country. Who has the better coach?
Oh, God.
Don't tell me it's automatically Ryan Day because he has a national title. Again, he was going to get fired if they lost to Tennessee.
It was terrible in the Michigan game.
Yeah.
I think the Chip Kelly loss is enormous.
That and Knowles.
Sure, yeah. I'm not a huge Sark fan either, but certainly that's a tight game last year, and then you get the scoop and score for the defense.
Of course.
28-14.
But I think that factors in. That's a terrible play call, Paulie.
It was. You give up 15 points per game last year. You return a ton of stars, and you have a ton of guys on defense.
Yeah.
26 players were drafted from that game, those teams last year that met in the playoff. They did a good job bottling up Smith. But Ohio State lost a lot on defense. In addition to Knowles, they put a lot of guys in the NFL as well. As I mentioned, it's the 4th time that the number one team in the country is playing the defending champs. Last time, 1988, Miami and Florida State. And as you mentioned earlier, it was on VSiN.com with the game preview. When a quarterback's making his first start against the number one team in the nation, they've lost 18 in a row. Jim Harbaugh, the last to do it, I think in the mid-'80s. So that's what Ohio State's up against. You're going to come back and tell me Ohio State's won 25 in a row to start in season openers. Most of those have been cupcakes, but still, I think Texas is going to win, and I also make the case for the under. But you also talk about a lot of talent here with Ohio State, a lot of talent, and if you could be right away, they could hit you big. Hey, there's Smith, 70-yard touchdown.
Sure,
there you go.
Hello, Oregon.
Yeah, right.
Although,
How good was he in the playoff?
But the Texas defense again was,
yes.
and they had guys to match up with him last year. I mean, Bear won the Jim Thorpe Award.
Okay, yeah.
You know.
But Oregon was undefeated.
No,
and
I know. They were good.
They made them look like the game was over in the first quarter.
And so somehow, some way, I don't think this is going to be the case, but if Texas turns into the favorite everywhere, I think grabbing a 1.5, 2 points potentially with Ohio State would be my only look in this game, or maybe even money on the money line. That would be it. Just a numbers play at that point. If not, I'm probably going to sit back and watch the game and just hope that we get a good one. That's all I can do. I'm not going to force a bet on this game.
Yep.
Now,
well said. How about the game lives up to the hype too?
Okay, let's hope that happens.
Right. Day, your question earlier. Day hasn't lost a non-Michigan home game since 2021. But then again,
how many good non-conference teams have they played at home in that time?
Okay. But also, again, Texas has no problems going on the road and winning big games.
Very true.
What they've done. And they look at that Alabama win a couple years ago.
Okay, so I think I know what side you're on in the Notre Dame-Miami game. You on Miami? Did you grab 3? 3's out there still.
I think I'm stronger on the under because we're going to have rain.
Okay.
Here's what got me off Miami strong. Was there's a good article up on ESPN.com. They're asking coaches about particular players and top players. And an SEC coach said Carson Beck is a turnover machine and a turnover waiting to happen. Oh. And he was so bad last year and also bailed out by the balls that were dropped as well. So you factor in weather. You can come back and tell me, hey, what about Carr? He could maybe moments too big for him. But I also know that it's been a horror show. And it goes back a long time. But every time Notre Dame goes there, it's a disaster.
Okay, so I think I can maybe win you over here on a little bit of Notre Dame. When you look at the numbers, Carr again, redshirt freshman, getting the call at quarterback for Notre Dame. Now keep in mind, he was the number 6 recruit in the 2024 class. The Irish have a top 10 offensive line entering the season. You flip it, though, Miami also has a top 10 defensive line, courtesy of Pro Football Focus and their numbers and overall grades. Notre Dame's secondary is elite. It is outstanding. They led the nation in man coverage last year with a 92.9 Pro Football Focus grade. Carson Beck versus man coverage, 54.7% completion rate last year. Yikes. They also lost their top 6 leaders in receiving yards a year ago. On top of that, you want to talk about a coaching edge? How about this? Mario Cristobal is 4-5 ATS as a dog at Miami. Okay, so nothing really there to look at. But he's 1-6 straight up versus ranked teams with the Hurricanes. And if you go back to his Oregon days, he is 1-9 straight up last 10 games versus ranked foes, thanks to Paul Stone for those numbers. And Marcus Freeman is 21-7-1 ATS last 2 years in Notre Dame, 14-5 straight up versus ranked teams. And Scott Seinberg had this on the network earlier in the week. Notre Dame is 30-9 ATS last 39 games as a road neutral team.
Chris Fallica, the Bear, went to Miami. He's objective on Miami. He is high on this team. And he thinks the defense is going to, well, they could only get better. But he thinks it's going to be a game changer with what they do defensively. And if he's high on Miami, I'll believe the Bear and go along with that too.
Yeah, I can't get there with Carson Beck. I don't think the guy's very good.
Well, it doesn't have to be great.
No, he doesn't. But I mean, there's a lot of talk. I mean, remember last year at one point he was the short shot to be the number 1 pick. I laughed out loud on the air.
Okay.
You got to be kidding me.
All right. Well, I'm there on Clemson, though. I'm there on Clemson and the move up to 4.5. Getting Tom,
this is going to be one I regret, I think.
Getting Tom Allen was enormous. All the talk back there is how bad the offensive line looks in practice. You lose 4 starters. You couldn't run the ball last year. You got a nasty Clemson defensive line. You're going to rotate. This is from Brian Kelly. We're going to rotate 8 guys? Okay. Your comeback is going to be, since Trevor Lawrence left, they're averaging 3.5 losses a season. I mean, they had no business beating Pitt last year. They had no business being in the ACC title game.
Well, but I will say this. Cade Klubnik is better than DJU.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Klubnik's awesome.
Yeah.
But also, are we going overboard, though, with how the offense looked against Texas and SMU? Like, what happened before that? But they've added pieces, and certainly I'll go back to Brett McMurphy, who was on when you were on vacation. Brett, the question was, hey, they're $2 to make the playoff. It should be $2,000, he said. They're a lock to make the playoff, and they're winning the ACC. So,
yeah. But
I think they're going to be too much for the offensive line, and they're going to be able to have some success moving the ball. And Klubnik going to have a monster year, and I think Clemson wins the ACC, wins this game, and I'll go one step further from our guest, Preston. I think they win by double digits.
Yeah. So in my head, when I made this bet, it goes back to last weekend. And, I'm on a bunch of different apps, and I'm on the screen, I'm looking, and one book moved to 4.5. And I went to go bet it. It was gone. I missed that. And then all of a sudden, 3.5s were showing. A couple books still had 4. I'm like, well, I originally liked LSU, so I better grab the 4. I don't think it's going to come back. It looks like the whole market's going to 3.5. And they did. Well, that lasted for, 3-4 days? That's it? Because now it's back to 4.5 now is where the game is going. And when I was looking at all the numbers, Bill Connolly at ESPN, SP Plus has it a 2-point game. And I was thinking about, if they played 10 times, how many games would result in a blowout either way? I thought only a couple. I thought this game, the teams were so close that it would come down to a final possession, 7, 8, maybe 9 of those games. But now also that suspension's baked in for the LSU secondary. That's another guy that's going to be out. And then the offensive line against the D-line, when you look at it, it's I might get off the game. I bet 4. I might just try to get off the game.
These are at FanDuel. Clemson to go undefeated in the regular season, plus 430. Notre Dame, plus 440. Ohio State, plus 460. Texas, 6-1. As the official horse racing partner of VSiN, First Bet is built for bettors who demand more. First Bet's in-app tools give you win, place, and show probabilities for each runner, so you can quickly and easily identify good value plays and improve your ROI. Just in time to take advantage of a limited time $250 sign-up offer for the Pacific Classic. Claim your bonus by using promo code VSiN250 when you sign up in the First Bet app or firstbet.com. Promo code VSiN250.
Chip Brown, horns247.com up next. What is a realistic expectation for Arch Manning?
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Welcome back. Good to have you on board. We are live here on a Football Friday, downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. And right now we head out to the Progressive Guest Line. This guy has done an incredible job covering the Texas Longhorns for several years. Chip Brown joins the program, horns247.com. You can follow him on X at ChipBrown247. Chip, thanks so much for the time today. You're live in Columbus. We appreciate it. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm sitting here right in the middle of the Ohio State University campus. So it's a beautiful, beautiful day. It's supposed to be beautiful tomorrow. So let's get it on.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. Can't wait for the game. What a way to kick off the season. So let's begin here. And we were talking about this in the previous segment, right? You're getting both extremes here with the narratives across the country on Arch Manning. Some people are saying he's going to win multiple Heisman trophies. He's one of the best quarterbacks we're ever going to watch in college football. Others are coming out and saying the hype does not match the tape. What do you think is the most realistic expectation we should have on Arch entering the year?
Well, I think he's got an amazing upside. I mean, his ceiling is incredibly high. And what we've seen from him so far is a little bit of the ups and the downs. I mean, he came in off the bench against UTSA and went nuts. 4 touchdowns, 4 touchdown passes. His first pass was a touchdown. He had a 75-yarder to Ryan Wingo. Hell, he had 2 touchdowns before Quinn Ewers got out of the medical tent, including a 67-yard run where he ran 20-plus miles per hour. And then the next week, his first start, he got a little greedy. You know, he tried to force a deep ball, got intercepted. He got some pressure and threw into a crowd against Louisiana Monroe, got a second pass intercepted. They still won 51-3. But, you know, he admitted it immediately. He said, you know, I shouldn't have thrown those passes. Well, then he comes back and starts against Mississippi State, and he'd clearly learned from what he experienced the week before, because he completed 26 of 31 for 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, and ran for a touchdown. So to me, he's a guy who learns from his mistakes. He gets better. His teammates love him. He can throw the deep ball. We've seen it already. And, you know, he's got to get comfortable with all the new characters around him in this offense. And then I think we'll just see it, like it'll be a chart that just kind of gradually keeps going up. Now, if he lights it up tomorrow and, you know, kind of like we were talking about when Joe Burrow, you know, beat Texas to open the 2019 season. And, you know, he threw 4 touchdowns, had an interception. You could argue Sam Ehlinger outplayed him that game. Sam had 4 touchdowns, no picks. But that 3rd and 17 pass to Justin Jefferson, you know, changed everything. And they got on a heater, the likes we've never seen. I think Arch Manning can have that kind of rise because he wants to be great, and he's been training for this, you know, his whole life. So, you know, if he's a stock, I'm buying stock because that stock is just going to keep going up in my mind.
The biggest edge they have, or they can exploit, do you think it's Sark against Patricia or this defense against the quarterback making his first start? Well,
the Texas defense is the absolute strength of this football team, and I think the country is going to see that tomorrow. I think their ability against a first-time starting quarterback, I'll take that as the key to the whole operation tomorrow, and then we'll see, you know, what this offense looks like. Their left tackles got a hand injury. Trevor Gooseby they're gonna cast it up, and he's gonna play. You know, they've got 4 new starters on that line, so it's hard to tell exactly what that offensive line is at this point. But Arch can run around a little bit. He can extend plays. He can make something out of nothing. And I think he's going to have to do that tomorrow. I mean, I think, you know, Sarkisian has said, we don't want to major in running the quarterback, but there are games where we'll do what we got to do to get out of the stadium with a W. And I think tomorrow's one of those games that Arch Manning's going to have to use his legs to help Texas try to get a W.
Let's follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Chip Brown, our guest. He covers the Texas Longhorns for horns247.com. You can follow him on X at Chip Brown 24/7. Of the players they lost on defense, one was Barron, the Jim Thorpe winner, and he was absolutely phenomenal, obviously, last year. But they did a phenomenal job neutralizing Jeremiah Smith in their bowl game, the semifinal loss last year, where he was basically a non-factor, and Ohio State somehow still beat him. Do they still have the dudes in the secondary to slow down maybe the best wide receiver we've seen in college football in a few years?
I think they do. I mean, Andrew Makuba was a special talent, and he proved it in that game because he was the safety who concentrated on, Jeremiah Smith over the top, and he was fantastic. But they still have, Michael Taft, Derek Williams, and I think you'll see Jelani McDonald, who is, one of the breakout players in my mind for this year, 6'2", 200-pound defensive back who can run like the wind. I think he will be the one manned up on on Smith underneath, and then, they'll have a safety over the top again. I mean, why would you, everyone's like, oh, they're going to have to change it up. Well, no. I mean, you force them to adjust to you. Keep doing what you were doing. And then if they do some, try to get Jeremiah Smith the ball with handoffs and receiver screens, whatever, behind the line of scrimmage, then you adjust. But, last year when they wanted to take shots with Jeremiah Smith, he was in the slot. So they made sure whenever he was in the slot that it was safety concentration over the top. That safety wasn't looking anywhere else but at number 4.
Mm-hmm. Chip, what do you make of the point spread in the game? Here at Circa, they were the first sports book, I think, in the world to make Texas a favorite yesterday. They have since gotten some money on Ohio State. They're a pick 'em here. DraftKings has Texas -1.5. Do you think the Longhorns should be favored in this game tomorrow?
I do, because I think the Texas defense is that good.
Mm-hmm.
I was telling my partner at Horns 24/7, Eric Henry, if this defense doesn't, come out and, stop the run and get pressure with Colin Simmons and Anthony Hill and Ethan Burke, I'll be shocked, because, these are big time NFL talents. And I just expect the Texas defense to dominate. Now, Ohio State's defense could make life really hard on Texas as well. Texas hasn't run the ball as well as it should against elite defenses. They couldn't run the ball against Georgia. They only averaged 2 yards a carry against Ohio State in the college football playoff semifinal. And I just told you that, it's an offensive line that's a little bit patchwork. So, I think it's going to take a minute for this offense to find its groove, but I think the defense can control this game, and you're probably going to have to kick some field goals.
Yeah, probably. Totally agree. Chip, we're down to like a minute here. I'm a big fan of Austin. I love the city. I've never been to Franklin's Barbecue, though. Is that the best barbecue joint in the entire area?
Franklin Barbecue, yes. It is out of this world. It's worth the wait. It's fantastic. There are some other good barbecue joints, though. I mean, Terry Black's is not bad, but Franklin is outstanding.
Yeah, very good. Terry Black's awesome. I did have that last time I was there.
Yeah.
Again, you can follow Chip on X at Chip Brown 24/7. Enjoy the game, man. That was a great spot. Thanks so much for the time. We appreciate that.
You bet. Appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. He's quite confident.
Yeah.
But I think he's also measured. And again, the key word here, I think, being a little bit realistic here. And as he expressed, I think, multiple times there, he is just so high on the Texas defense. And Paul, I can't disagree.
Yeah.
I think that unit might be the best in football again this year.
-320 at DraftKings, Texas to make the playoff. Ohio State -380. Clemson, $2. Notre Dame, $1.80. Miami, +170. As we're at with the big boys here.
Don't you like Notre Dame?
matchups.
I don't want to lay that
Whoa,
juice, I guess.
When you were out, Brad Powers. Like, if Notre Dame beats Miami, he'd lay whatever he says.
That's what I would think, right?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, if they win the game.
Where does that number go to? But he's like, if they beat Miami, and then you see what the rest of the schedule looks like, unleash hell, he said.
All right, let's follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Up next, which teams should be on upset alert this weekend? We'll kick that around and tie in some movement with the point spreads here today. Coming up next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Coming up in 15 minutes, RJ Choppy on the program, 105.3 The Fan in Dallas. We'll ask him to take us through what happened yesterday when Jerry Jones ultimately decided to say, you know what, enough's enough, Michael, you're going to go to Green Bay.
I was outraged that they cut away from the press conference on NFL Network. I could have watched that guy talk and answer questions all day.
The question could have been...
Because he's bat bleep crazy with some of this
absolutely.
stuff.
He's total Looney Tunes. The question could have been, Jerry, when was the last time you went to Mama's Pizza and what's your favorite item? He would have went on an 11-minute rant, which is what it was, by the way, about answering it. Just like what there was no need for a follow-up.
No.
He wanted to say everything that was on his mind the entire time.
Can't wait to talk to RJ. Doesn't think they got enough? How about that take?
RJ doesn't.
Yeah. And
Wow, okay.
I also agree with his assessment that Steven didn't want to be there and was just had it with the whole situation. Probably doesn't agree with what happened and transpired, but in any event.
Oh, boy. I mean,
There's a great line in the documentary when they asked Jerry how bad, like, what would you pay for another Super Bowl before you die? He goes, oh, the kids have nothing. That's it. Inheritance, gone. That's a huge number.
He's
but
lying.
Then but then why do you do this?
He's
That's
lying.
what I would have asked. That's what I would have asked yesterday. But then he thinks, he said it, we're better today by making the trade. That's outrageous.
he thinks that they're better right now short-term and better long-term. He couldn't stop talking about Kenny Clark and how this is going to make the defense better overall. Okay. Who was it that said, Jerry, if every team was hiring, you would...
Dale Hansen.
There you go. Oh, that guy is so good in Dallas. Former TV reporter.
Name one organization that would hire you to make personnel decisions. There's not
They
one.
would laugh.
There's not one.
They wouldn't even interview the guy.
No, and he's got him there, and he's got to take it.
Oh, he's got him trapped.
Absolutely.
Nothing you can do to get out of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me throw some teams at you. You can do the same if you would like about maybe upset teams that should be on upset alert this weekend in college football. I want to say Kentucky hosting Toledo because it feels like, again, or I should say, let me rephrase. It felt like the entire world was on Toledo to drive that number down to where it was, like, 7.5?
Yeah.
But movement today, Kentucky back to 10. Toledo's good. High expectations here.
Toledo can win the game.
They can win it outright.
Yep. I have Kentucky on upset alert. I have Utah on upset alert.
That number's down to 5.5.
Here it comes now. Yep.
So what does that tell you?
I like Dampier, but the transfer quarterback coming in from New Mexico, but I don't see it. I think UCLA can win that game as well. There's also money coming in Sunday afternoon on Vatek.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't buy that one.
Slowly, surely.
I do not like the coach. Price in his 4th year. He is atrocious in close games. Lost to Vandy last year by 7. Lost to Rutgers by 3. Lost to Miami by 4. Lost to Syracuse in overtime. Lost to Duke by 3. Lost to Purdue by 7. Lost to Marshall by 7. Lost to NC State by 7. Lost to Old Dominion by 3. Miami by 6. NC State 1. Georgia Tech 1. This guy cannot win a close game in a points or a one-score game, and the point spread 7.
South Carolina 7 right now at DraftKings. 7.5 at a lot of other books. Brad Powers loved the win total under on South Carolina many, many, many weeks ago during the offseason. High expectations, though, for that team.
Yeah.
I mean, people are absolutely, they were pushing each other out of the way to have hot takes on Sellers, the quarterback, either bet him for the Heisman or think that he's going to be like a pro prospect. I don't know if they can repeat the kind of year that they had a year ago, but that's a very good game to get the day started on Sunday. That's a 3, not the day started technically, but it's 3 Eastern, noon Pacific out here.
Yeah.
And then, of course, that's the appetizer for the Notre Dame-Miami game later on that night. So
I do not have Alabama on upset alert either.
They're 14 now at FSU.
Yeah, I agree with that move. Even though you got Miller out, I just to go from 13-1 to 2-10, and then you have the comments from Castellanos, who I don't really like as a quarterback, taking over at Florida State. Did you see these?
I saw.
You want to do it later?
No, you can bring it up right now because I'll run down his numbers a little bit later on.
They don't have Saban to save them, and I don't think they can stop me. You know, Paul, that's actually a comment that you would make. You would. That is unbelievable.
So I'm stunned that you don't like it.
Like, this guy is, oh, my God. He was benched at Boston College.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think they can stop me.
Oh.
Which I know Alabama had a ton of issues last year defensively, but oh, my God.
They did specifically at stopping mobile quarterbacks, which that dude can
Yeah.
take off and run with the best of them.
Yeah.
But you don't want to make those comments. I mean, they've been, and by the way, again, Pro Football Focus has Alabama rated as the number 1 defense in the country to begin the year. I mean, you can nitpick whatever. Some people have Texas, others might have Clemson, whatever. but they're going to be good on defense, a lot of talent. And why, after that kind of a season, you transfer in, you're going to make that? Yeah, your teammates hear that, you're going to be like, oh my God, man, what are you doing here?
I like Tennessee against Syracuse. Syracuse lost everybody.
Well, Tennessee lost a lot on offense as well.
Yeah. But hold my beer, Syracuse. I think Florida Atlantic can get Maryland. There you go. From 17 down to 14. Remember Loxley out here at Big Ten Media Day? I lost the locker room last year.
Okay.
You know, that could be big. And how Maryland hasn't gone well for them the last couple of years. And I think Southern Miss can get Miss State. The Marshall coach, Huff, coming in and bringing all his players. He goes from Marshall and winning the conference title to now going to the worst program at the time. But all the future money on Southern Miss, over 5.5 to win the league and all that. And I think Southern Miss, is that in Hattiesburg?
You better be careful because that goes against one of Makinen's.
That's at Hattiesburg. That's in Hattiesburg. I think they can get them at home against Miss State. Go ahead.
What do you think home field is worth there? In the same state? I'm just asking. I'm not being cocky. I'm not being condescending. None of that.
That's their Super Bowl, though.
This is it's a Steve Makinen stability score where it points basically with, a lot of the same units are back, same guys are back with the team, and it really favors Miss State.
You got any?
Well, certainly.
I mean, it's hard. It's hard to navigate because there's so many big point spreads. But if you want me to pick a couple for upset alert, those are the ones I'd go with.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with Kentucky necessarily. And, it's funny because what have we heard all year long? I think on this show anyway, we've had one person make the case for UCLA. Was it one?
It was Kelly Stewart.
She was there you go. It was Kelly in Vegas was the only person to make the case, I think, in the last several weeks. Everybody else is like, oh, Utah's going to pound them. Utah's the class of the Big 12. They're going to win this thing. It's going to be a bounce-back year.
I love Utah, but they don't pound anybody.
No, and oh, by the way, so if that's the case, and I get it, the point spread was lowered and it moved up to 6.5, but why is there buyback on UCLA now?
Yeah.
Not that the movement here has any been, you're not going to retire here chasing the steam here. If you go NFL preseason, then suddenly now with college football as well, not going to get the job done, but that's
this one.
That's surprising to me.
Give you this one from vsin.com. Huge favorites have been automatic in FBS against FBS matchups in the opening week of college football since 2013. How about 16-0 straight up, but 15-1 ATS, 94%. Mm-hmm. It's 37.5 or more. So that's Penn State, Georgia, Ole Miss. The one loser was Ohio State last year. They were 48.5. They beat Akron 52-6. Penn State's laying 44. Georgia's 39-38 against Marshall. Ole Miss 37.5 as well. Monitor Michigan and the USC game that they might get up to that point spread as well. 15-1 ATS. That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
so
that's strong.
Those big numbers. I mean, and by the way, money on Nevada. Looks like Penn State's down to 42.5 at FanDuel and a couple of others.
Oh, they're terrible. Plus, Franklin's well aware of the point spread, too.
Sure, I'm not going to be surprised if they win 50. That could be the Missouri game from last night.
Yeah, right.
Right? And I honestly, like Michigan, if they want to, and I think they kind of do, they could really take New Mexico behind the woodshed and just make it a bloodbath.
Yeah. I'm interested to see how this kid does, too. Not so much freshman, but how much money they gave him. And if he can live up to the hype. Think you're better than the experts? Prove it in the Edge Boost Average Joe contest. Same format as the Circa Friday Football Invitational, but contestants are average Joes instead of the pros. Free to play. Register anytime throughout the season and still be eligible for weekly and quarterly prizes. And the grand prize, a spot in next year's field. Awesome. Sign up now, vsin.com/Joe. vsin.com/Joe. Go get them, folks.
All right, we're going to hit the Micah Parsons trade yesterday. I still can't believe how many times Jerry Jones referred to him as Michael in that 11-plus minute answer that he gave. Michael. He's one of the best players in football. You can't call him by his name, Micah?
Well, he's up there in age. I don't know.
You're okay with that?
All right. He's up there in age. I know.
Okay.
Which he shouldn't be running the organization. I think we all agree on that. I know, yeah.
So RJ Choppy on the program next, 105.3 The Fan in Dallas. We'll have him take us through yesterday, and we'll ask him about a floor and a ceiling for the Cowboys this season.